Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Swany Rants. I just woke up a little bit ago, got my morning coffee, and I'm a bit tired, but I figured it was time to rant about something. I feel like this one's long overdue, and I want to talk about tipping culture, because tipping has gotten just way out of control in the United States.
You don't tip?
No, I don't believe in it.
You don't believe in tipping?
And I want to make it very clear that I am not against service workers. I'm not against like the Door Dashers or the the Uber drivers or the average waitress or waiter or subway guy. I'm not against these people. I know it might come across like that in this video, but I blame the companies. They've done this just in society. They've done this thing where they flipped it where it's expected that the customer is supposed to pay the salary of these employees. I don't know how it got that way, but that's how it is. And so, yeah, I don't blame the workers. It's not like, oh, I hate you service workers. You deserve less of a tip. I shouldn't give you money just because. No, I think the restaurants should pay the employees more, and then just you as the customer, a tip should be just a little like the cherry on top. It shouldn't be paying the base salary of the employee. That's the point I'm trying to make in this video. I'm not like trying to shit on the service workers or the, in any of those people. Like if you're a Door Dasher, props to you. I don't have anything against you. It's just I don't think that the tip should be up front. You shouldn't be relying on tips. If DoorDash is going to add a million extra fees just for anything, like a big order fee, a small order fee, a long distance fee, there's fees for everything, but the amount that they pay the employees stays the same. I think that's what's screwed up. Everywhere you go, they want you to tip. And me and my girlfriend have had like a debate about how to tip. She thinks that no matter what, you should start with like 15-20% at like a sit-down restaurant. And I don't think that's the case. I like to tip, me personally, I will tip based off of the service I was provided.
I don't tip because society says I have to. All right, I mean, I'll tip if somebody really deserves a tip. If they really put forth the effort, I'll give them something extra. But I mean, it's tipping automatically. It's for the birds.
And I like to start my tipping at a base of like $3 to $5, like in that range. And then I go from there. Like if they do more work and they like go above and beyond, then that value will go up. Like it'll go from 5 to maybe 7 or 8. And then like if they take forever to check in on me, like if I need a refill and I don't see the server for like 10 minutes, then okay, that number is going to go down a little bit. Or if they forget something, or if they screw up my order, I ordered like, I don't know, corn and they give me mashed potatoes. Well, I don't know who messed that up, either the cook or the server wrote it down wrong. I don't know, but that's probably going to affect my tip at the end of it. If like I'm in a group of friends and there's like 4 or 5 of us, that makes sense to tip more, in my opinion, because we're probably sending the server back and forth to the kitchen. Like, hey, can we get a refill? We forgot some like ketchup. Can you go get us some ketchup? And if we're like putting the server to work, then I feel like I need a tip. Like, okay, they worked hard. They provided me with a service, so I'm going to give them additional money. But if I go into like a sit-down restaurant, and let's say I order a $15 chicken sandwich meal at like, I don't know, Texas Roadhouse. And I get this $15 chicken sandwich meal, and I tip 20%. That's what, $3? So that brings my total up to $18. So $18 meal, tip included. Now this server, all they did was they came to my table, they asked me what I wanted, they got me my drink, and then the past like 20 times I've been to a sit-down restaurant, my server isn't even the one that brings me my food anymore. It used to be that way, but now they have like dedicated people in the kitchen that just take food to the tables. So if anything, I should be tipping those people that are bringing me my food, not my server, because 9 times out of 10, I literally I'm like, hey, I want an ice water, here's the food I want, and then I don't see the server again until either I have an issue, which is very rare, or I see them again when it comes to like, hey, I want a box to go, or can you get me the check? And now most sit-down restaurants, you can pay at the table. They have a little QR code. It says scan and pay on the go. So I don't even have to wait to get my bill or wait for the server to pay for my food anymore. I can sit down, eat, and then I'm like, okay, it's time to leave. We can scan the QR code and I can pay on my way out the door. So I don't even need to have that final interaction with the server. So if I order my $15 chicken sandwich meal, I tip 20%, I pay a total of $18. Then the next day, let's say it's my birthday, and I want to order a fancy steak meal, and I go back to the same Texas Roadhouse. Yeah! And I order a steak meal, and it's like $35 for the steak meal. Now, let's say I tip another 20% for that meal. That's $7, making my total like $42 for literally just ordering a steak meal. I get the same server, just a different day. Because I ordered more food, I'm supposed to tip more money? Like, the server's not working harder because I ordered a steak versus a chicken sandwich. They're not even bringing me my food anymore. It's the people that are like the designated food bringer people. It just doesn't compute into my head why, if I spend more money, I'm expected to tip the server more money. Now, if I ordered a big meal and I had a bunch of issues, like, sorry, this isn't cooked the right way, or although that should kind of affect the tip if your food isn't cooked the right way, so maybe that's not a good example. But if I have a million things like, hey, I need more salt, hey, I need more A1 sauce, I need ketchup, can I get a bunch of refills, can I order like a beer? Like, if I'm running them back and forth to the kitchen, okay, they deserve a tip. I still remember one of the best servers I ever had. I was eating with my mom, and I think I was in college. And this server came to our table, chatted with us for a little bit. We told him our order. He memorized everything, didn't screw up anything at all. The food was delivered in a timely manner, and he checked in on us. And I think my mom tipped him like, I don't know, $20 or something. And I threw in a little bit extra as well on top because I was like, wow, this guy just really went above and beyond and impressed both me and my mom. So we gave him a little bit of extra money. That makes sense to me in that scenario to tip. If they just literally take my order and I ordered a $35 steak, why should I give that person $7? See, according to my girlfriend and her friends that work in the service industry, that's how it should work. They expect to get paid more if you order more food. Their excuse is, don't go down to a sit-down restaurant if you can't afford it. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? My options are fast food, and most fast food places are expecting tips now, or a sit-down restaurant. A sit-down restaurant has better food. It's a better experience. I already can't afford things because the economy is just awful, so everything's expensive. But if I want to have a semi-decent meal, it's not even a great meal. Most sit-down restaurants now, especially like the chain restaurants, the food's not even that spectacular compared to like fast food or something, but it is better. Now, like a mom-pop restaurant, like a locally owned restaurant, that is probably going to be a bit better, but a chain restaurant like Texas Roadhouse or something, the food's just okay. But if I want to have that experience, I'm expected to be prepared to tip more just because it's a sit-down restaurant. It just doesn't compute into my head. But let's talk about those like in-between restaurants. It's not quite to the point of like McDonald's asking you for tips yet, at least that I'm aware of. I haven't been to McDonald's in a long time. But those in-between restaurants like a Subway or a Crumble Cookies or something that doesn't have a drive-in window, but it's a place you can go in and order food, like a kiosk or something, they expect you to tip now. And it's like, I'm already paying extra. Like, your Subway sandwich I'm about to order is like $15. Why is this $15 not going towards the employees that you're paying? Why am I expected to spend $15 on a Subway sandwich and tip on top of that? I gotta tip the guy that's making my food. Their only job is to stand there and put my sandwich together. They're getting paid by Subway. And then I'm also, like, it's also expected that the customer's supposed to pay the employee as well. Like, why? It should be up to Subway to pay those employees more, not the customer to pay the employees more. So I think our tipping culture is just all out of whack. It's like ass backwards. And then we have things like DoorDash and Uber and Instacart and those apps where they deliver food to you, and it's expected that you tip a high amount. And I've seen just tons of videos online of like DoorDashers like spitting in food or throwing food away or stealing food, or they're just upset that they didn't get a high enough tip, and they feel like this sense of entitlement of, oh, I delivered your food but you didn't give me a tip, so you don't get your food. Like, that's not how it's supposed to work, like, at all. Tipping should be based off of like how well they perform the service. That determines if they get an additional tip or not. Like, I'm already paying a food fee, a delivery fee, a fee if you want to get the food quicker. So they have like extra, like, pay now and the food goes straight to you. Otherwise, the food goes to, like, the driver will stop at like 4 different places, and then your food's cold by the time you get it. But you can pay extra if you want it delivered quickly. And then there's so many factors that come into play with like a DoorDash order now, where, you know, if a DoorDash order gets to me quickly, my food's still warm, there's no issues, they didn't forget anything, then I'm like, okay, well, this driver did a good job, I should tip them more. But it's ass backwards. If I put in a DoorDash order, you're expected to tip up front, and then the driver, I guess, just reacts and does their job based off of your tip, I'm assuming. It just doesn't make sense to me why I should give, like, say I tip $10 to a Dasher, and then my food shows up like a half an hour late and they're forgetting something. Like, I already gave them the $10 tip, and then they performed a poor service. So it's just, it's so stupid. So stupid. And this is coming from me. Like, I used to do live streams all the time. I get donations. People just give me money. I haven't streamed lately, but that's how it used to work. Like, if I did a live stream, I would get donations. I don't expect people to donate to me unless I provide something for you. Like, I'm providing you with entertainment, or I've had people tip me on my tips and tricks videos where I'll make a guide and someone will like comment in the comment section with like a super chat, and they're like, oh, thanks, this video helped me out, here's $2. I'm like, okay, that's nice. I wasn't expecting that, but I helped that person out and they decided to tip me. I feel like that's how a tip should work. You provide a service for somebody, they're grateful, and they're like, here, thanks, here's a couple of dollars. Okay, I don't expect, like, if I worked a service job and I was a waitress, or a waitress, if I was a waiter, I would expect to just get paid the base amount, which is not very much, but you're doing multiple tables, so that adds up. If I do like 3 tables in an hour and each table tips me like $3, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, the $2 you get per hour base pay, you know, 1 hour you might make $12, 1 hour you might make $20. It just depends on how many tables you get. And I feel like that's up to me as an individual. If I do a good job, I have to work my butt off to try to get people to tip more. I shouldn't be just go to work and expect people to tip me just because I exist. At least that's my opinion. And then you have stores like Target and Best Buy and Walmart and all these big stores where you go to check out, you just spent like $200, and they're like, hey, do you want to donate money to the Starving Kids in Africa Fund? And it's like, no. And the cashier will just straight up ask you, hey, do you want to donate money to this fund? These people are starving. It's like, I don't know where that money's going, okay? If I'm going to donate to charity, I want it to be localized. I want it to be like, here's the money, I hand it to you, and I have to see and like you talk me through where this money is going to go. If I'm just donating money to some big corporation, I have no clue where that money goes. It could go directly into some CEO's pocket for all I know. And I'm just like, yeah, sure, Best Buy, here's an extra $3. And then they like pressure you into it. Like, are you sure you don't want to donate? Like, you got to donate today. Every time you make a purchase at one of these stores, they're always asking you for donations now, which is annoying. And then outside of that, there's all these kiosks. You go into any place that has like a kiosk, it's like, do you want to tip 10%, 20%? 30%? It's like, no. No, I don't. Another good example is when I used to get haircuts. Like, obviously, I'm pretty bald now. I need to shave my head again. But when I used to get haircuts, I would tip a decent amount depending on what they did to my hair. But towards the latter stages of me getting haircuts, when I started to go bald and I would just have them shave me, I would be in and out in like 5 minutes, and I didn't tip that much because they literally just went bzz, 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 and then I was done. But back when I had hair and they like styled it and formed it and cut it, I would tip more because they were doing more work. Does that make sense? Like, am I in the wrong here? I very well could be. I don't know. I just feel like we should tip people that aren't normally tipped. For example, I don't know, a mailman. If you're a local mailman and you see them often, you order a ton of packages and they get them to you reasonably and your packages don't go missing, tip the mailman. That kind of makes sense. Or you get an oil change. That's a service that you don't want to do. I think it makes more sense to tip your oil change guy than it does your server that brings you a water and doesn't even bring you your food anymore. So yeah, why don't we tip like the oil change guy versus just in society, that's not really accepted. I mean, yes, you can tip your mailman or your oil change guy. No one's stopping me from doing that. But as a society, that's not really expected. It's more expected to tip your DoorDash driver up front or to tip your server no matter what they do. And I feel like it's gotten away from these businesses paying their employees, and somehow it got flipped onto the customer paying the employees, and it doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know. I could be wrong. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below. Maybe it should be the base and we should tip 20% on everything. And maybe my girlfriend's right and I just have the wrong outlook on things. And if that's the case, maybe I should change my ways. But either way, I want to know what your guys' opinions are down in the comment section down below. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. That way you don't miss out on any future Swany Rants videos. And that is going to do it for me, everyone. And I will talk to you all in the next video.